Welcome to today's discussion on emerging technologies and trends in the manufacturing industry. I'm Rick Detweiler. I lead core technologies for manufacturing industries for North America. Joining me today is Scott Renner from Oracle's Industry Solutions Group to share his insight into current trends and thoughts on how emerging technology will affect industry. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you, Rick. Pleasure to be here.
So, Scott, how does a company get started with an Industry 4.0 strategy?
Well, simply vision, scope, and scale. These are strategic and tactical elements of a 4.0 transformation plan. An organization needs to know its vision and tactically needs to know where it's at and its capabilities to achieve that vision. There's a Industry 4.0 maturity roadmap that we have that helps companies along those stages of development. A process that helps companies think big within vision terms, but deliver in small tactical terms for success. Here in this diagram, we see the 5 stages of what we consider a very natural progression path. Stage 1 is foundational with devices and networking capabilities and procuring cloud services. Stage 2 is about interconnecting these assets. Device cloud communication, an IoT management platform for devices, and baseline data collection.
So in your recent experience, what's your evaluation of typical company maturity? So, I mean, there's been instrumentation on a lot of devices for many years, but whether or not they're actually being used is another question.
Well, I think it's why this maturity model is so important. Companies want to jump to an end-state solution without really paying the dues and establishing the foundational elements that are required. Some of these higher-level payback applications and analytics require a very broad data set across the complete value chain beyond just simply having a simple IoT project.
So monitoring and decisions. The timeline on this diagram, is it typical of an organization or is this reference in general?
Well, it's our general reference, and it's definitely dependent on the effort, and it certainly assumes that you're engaging a partner that has established experience and an established solution. If a company were to build their own, you would expect much longer time frames.
What does it mean to get to the end of this diagram?
So in stages 4 or 5 is the end of maturity. It's where companies want to be. That's where the value proposition is the greatest. That's where some of the more advanced analytic capabilities are achieved. Artificial intelligence, product innovation, machine learning, all these things require scale. Scale meaning data collected on more devices over a broader spectrum of the supply chain.
But you don't have to finish all 5 stages in order to recognize.
No, absolutely not. The important is to know where you're at within these stages in context of the vision. And these elements build upon themselves, just like accomplishing your vision should build upon itself.
Where do you see the impact of digitization in manufacturing on the configure, price, quote processes?
Speed and consistency in execution. That's the major impact. So digitizing the CPQ process speeds up the execution of responding to a sales lead. It helps adhere to business policies and generates these deliverables to the customer in a standard format. Creating a high-quality customer experience requires connecting product, price, and delivery data in a customer-centric way that envelopes the complete sales cycle. Oracle CPQ solution is certainly capable and does very well in quoting very complex product and pricing scenarios and generates these standardized documents. This is of particular interest in industrial manufacturing because traditionally a configuration or a configurable solution is thought to have been too difficult for highly configured products or definitely too difficult for engineer-to-order products, much less capable of pushing those functions into the field and have a customer visualization component. The cloud solutions have lowered some of those barriers and raised our capabilities in those areas. By digitization, we mean that the outputs of the process are a function of the inputs. These standardized documents are not cobbled together like in a non-integrated solution. Non-integrated solutions require many roles within the organization to produce deliverables, product engineering, cost management, manufacturing, fulfillment, procurement, et cetera, et cetera. And at the end of that, a sales rep is responsible for formulating the organizational views and synthesizing these deliverable documents to present to the customer.
At the end of the day, though, you're really tightening up the process itself, making it a consistent experience for the customer, and then creating a speed to change in the market if you have changes to configuration. And I would think that it would reduce the number of touches that has to happen along the process. In other words, fewer folks that have to be involved in customizing these configurations. Is that an accurate statement?
Absolutely. Just because you have a configuration approach doesn't mean that product engineering is not involved and manufacturing is not involved. They're involved. They're involved in making sure that the business policies and business model is part of the configuration solution. So now the model itself helps deliver that consistent solution, sales lead by sales lead.
So blockchain has been gathering a lot of interest lately and has promise in many areas of supply chain. What would you consider a primary mainstream usage of this technology in manufacturing?
Well, blockchain is by nature a distributed, decentralized control methodology, technology. And it is best used in those environments where we have decentralized elements that need documentation. Typically, these types of applications involve many business entities, many business partners, and certainly complex origin to destination supply chains. This is a chain of custody kind of application where documenting the supply chain events and documenting the documents within the supply chain events are paramount. It's very typical for a product to go from manufacturer origin to transporter to consolidator, distributor, retailer, and consumer. The blockchain becomes the tool, the system of record of authentication for every part of that handoff. So the next time that you order that watch on the internet or ship your repair part across the world, you can be ensured of the integrity of the transactions that brought you your product.
And so for companies that have a multinational presence, right, would it be accurate to say that blockchain as a distributed technology would assist in reconciliation, financial reconciliation and settlement? In particular, country of origin, product componentry, what's the percentage of whatever product is within that actual component itself? It's the traceability standard, I guess, is what I'm referring to.
Well, there's multiple methodologies within blockchain. Some of them are open source and some of them are proprietary. But in essence, it becomes a centralized data repository for disparate systems integration. So wherever you are in that partnership chain, you have access for status of your network.
Excellent. Thank you for that explanation. Thank you for joining us today for this brief video. Scott, where would you recommend folks go to find further information on topics we discussed today?
I would recommend Industry Solutions at oracle.com.
Thank you for joining today, and thank you for your insight.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
So when you think innovation, think Oracle.